So welcome to this week's edition of Mindful Monday. If it's your first time joining us, feel free to place in the comments where you're coming from. If you have any questions, you can do that as well. If you have any topics you'd like to have covered, you're also welcome to put them in the comments, and you can also DM me or email me, whatever platform you're watching this on. Whether it's live or the recorded version, we will get back to you. So for today, we are here to talk about quick and easy ways to anchor into positive states and bring them up whenever you want. So in NLP, an anchor is a technique used to manage and experience a state so that you can access it and re-experience it anytime you like. And it's one of my favorite techniques. So it is a type of operant conditioning, shall we say. And it does take time, so it's not something that is immediately useful, but it is such a powerful tool. They say a habit can require 21 to 28 days or even longer to kind of be effective. However, this is a powerful tool, like I said. So to help define what it is, if you've ever heard of Pavlov's dogs, he was a behaviorist, and so every time he rang a bell and fed the dogs, that became a symbol to them, so that in the future, when he rang that bell, whether or not the dogs were being fed, they salivated. So the bell became an anchor for the dogs. And so we humans naturally associate into negative states, shall we say. For example, if you were rear-ended at a certain red light, the next time you're at that red light, or maybe many times in the future, you might kind of, if you're stopped there, you might kind of be looking in your rearview mirror. I've had that experience myself. Another example of a negative anchor might be if you had a bad experience at a restaurant or with a certain type of food where you became ill or had food poisoning, etc., etc. You might kind of either avoid that food in that restaurant completely, or even the thought of it sometimes can bring up the feeling of nausea or not wanting to have that. So those are a couple very general examples of negative anchors. Of course, we have all tons of them, amongst us. And it's interesting because a traumatic thing, like a car accident or something like that, is anchored into us immediately. It only takes that one time, and then it's there for good. But we also have the ability to bring about and associate into positive states and create positive anchors, positive things. We just don't do this automatically, unfortunately, but we can do it, and it is very, very powerful. So it does take more time. Like I said, a traumatic negative anchor can happen, or association can happen right away. But a positive one we want to continually practice, because it has to become that habit kind of state. So the keys to doing this anchoring, or anchoring into positive states, are going to be, you're going to want to, at least the way I teach it anyway, is to choose a hand position. And you don't want to have like the okay or the one finger salute or something that you have associations or that you use for other things. So I like to use, and you want to make it something that's maybe easy to do and not so obvious, in case you want to be doing this like on the sly, like some of my public speakers don't want people to know what they're doing. But I like to use Yoga Mudras because they're powerful techniques in their own right, and it's too much to go into to explain them. Maybe we'll do a future Mindful Monday just on Yoga Mudras, but they can mean different things. So two of my favorite ones, if somebody doesn't have kind of a hand anchor to use, are, this one is Infinite Possibilities. It's called Akasha Mudra. So you touch, it's hard to get in, you're just touching, you can do one or both hands, you're touching your middle finger to your thumb. So that's something we don't commonly do, and it means infinite possibilities. So I love that. It's one of my favorite personal anchors that I use. Another one that I use is called Hansi Mudra. And so again, one or two hands, it's all your fingers touching except for the pinky is extended. And that means inner joy or inner smile. So those are two of my favorite that I personally use. They can certainly be done kind of on the slide. Nobody needs to know. It's not like something like all crazy that you're doing like in a yoga class. So, but you can create your own too. But you will want to choose an anchor, a hand anchor to use, at least the way I teach it, and I think it's very useful. And so the next thing that you're going to do is you want to catch yourself having a positive feeling, a positive state. You want to actually catch yourself in the peak of the state, because during this peak experience, this is the most powerful time to anchor into it. And so during this peak experience, you'll want to like really, really catch yourself. So I can give you an example. I was at a show. I love Broadway and stuff like that. And I think it was, and I love disco. So it was a Donna Summer. I know some of you might laugh at this, but I think we went to see Donna Summer last year. And the whole time I had like goosebumps. So I was anchoring the whole time. It was like with my fingers, and I can like touch my fingers and just get goosebumps and bring back all of that kind of stuff. But to go back to this, so what you want to do is in your peak experience, you want to catch yourself having that. Then you want to fire your hand anchor, whatever it is for you. And then you're going to take a nice deep breath in. On your exhale, you'll think or say your word or phrase. So your word or phrase is going to be, you want to name your feeling or your experience. And you can name it with a word, a phrase, an image, a sound, a song, anything at all. But you'll want to do that, you know, right as you experience the peak, you'll name it, you'll fire your hand anchor, you breathe, you exhale, and you can think or say your word or phrase. And you want to do that whole process a total of 3 times. Some people release their fingers and bring them back on each breath. I kind of tend to just hold them. Either way is going to work. I've tried both ways. And so, like I said, you'll repeat that whole thing 3 times. And so after a period of time when you've been doing this, so you want to continue to catch yourself having these positive states, positive feelings, and keep anchoring in. So that experience and all of those next ones get anchored into your physiology, so that after a period of time, you can fire your anchor, take a deep breath in, and say your word or phrase. And it is amazing. Like I just said, I got goosebumps. All those feelings come rushing back to you. And so you've anchored it into your physiology. It does take time, but it is an easy technique to use, and it is a very powerful technique. It can change your state of mind. It can give you energy. It can give you happiness and give you all those positive memories, kind of like looking through a photo album or something like that. So it is one of my all-time favorite techniques, and that is called anchoring. So I hope you've had a great Mindful Monday, and see you soon. Also, if you're first time here, you can type mindful in the comments, and that'll get you our PDF cheat sheet that we send out every week about what we covered today. Have a great one.